Hey, all, Tom Moran here from Tom's Big Spiders. Well, first off, let's go for the obvious thing. For those of you who watch my channel, I usually have an intro with some intro music. Well, unfortunately, that intro music is probably gone from this point out. The last video I posted up, I received a copyright claim on it, which I thought would be easy enough to solve because I did purchase the rights to use this music back in 2018, but it's turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. The original company that I licensed it from closed, and with the copyright claim came ads on my video. Now, anybody that's watched my channel knows I can't stand ads. I don't run ads myself. I don't want them on the videos. And to know that because of this song, I now have ads and people are popping up saying, oh, you've monetized. No, I'm not putting ads on the video. This is from the owner of the copyright of the song I've been using for many, many years. So I'm still trying to sort it out a bit, but I'm already taking action, and it looks like we'll have a new theme song probably in the beginning or middle of next year. We'll see how it goes, but I'll keep people updated. So for the time being, there will be no intro music. It kind of stinks too because I was actually redoing the intro video to try to include some new footage and make it a little more, I don't know, up to date with some of the footage I've caught over the last couple of years or so. So I'll put that on the back burner until we have a new song. So stay tuned. I'll kind of keep people updated how that goes. This episode here, we're going to be taking a look at some recent molts. I haven't done one of these in a while. I used to do them all the time, but sometimes you have a period in time in your collection where a lot of different animals are molting, and in many cases, they take on new appearances as they march on toward maturity. In this case, I have a couple that really put on some gorgeous colors and patterns with the latest molt. So I want to share some of these with you all. So enough of me talking. Let's get into checking out some freshly molted spiders. All right, we're going to do some updates on some recent molts. I've had a bunch of molts, which is odd because the weather's been very cold here, so this must be like the tail end of the summer molting. But the first one we have up here is Theraphosinae species Piura. Now, really excited for the molt on this one because this is one of these species that I didn't know really what they were going to look like when I got into them. However, I had two, a male and a female. Both of them picked up beautiful green tones. The female's green tones have muted out a bit, but she is still a striking spider nonetheless. Now, for folks who are wondering how the pairing went, apparently not too well. I paired her twice with the male. I thought it was successful. She was eating like a pig. She turned into, she was looking like a Homoeomma size in the booty, and I was hoping she was going to drop a nice sack. But as more time went on, it was apparent that there was probably not going to be a sack, and then obviously she just molted out. So there will be no babies, at least at this point. The male is still alive and looking in pretty decent shape, so I am going to try to pair them again. But for folks looking for these, apparently Fear Not Tarantulas had 2 sacks, so they're giving them away for free over there. So anybody that's been looking for these guys or has seen them on earlier videos of mine that were thinking that this would be a cool spider to raise up, and I would absolutely agree. They are fast growing. I have 3 little babies now that are growing very, very quickly. These guys grew quickly. Beautiful spiders. I would definitely encourage folks to seek them out, and this one probably has her adult colors now. She has dropped some of that juvenile green, and again, still just an amazing looking spider who just startled Billy a minute ago because she jumped and Billy's getting nice close with the camera. So if you can see here, you can see there's still some of the green on the femur. She's got those stripes on her knees, some browns, some reddish tones, just an absolutely stunning spider overall. And this one's been rather docile. It's been one of the nicer surprises about it is it's a very laid back spider overall. So Theraphosinae species green, for those wanting to get some, I would grab some now because who knows if I'll be able to pair this one and get babies from that, and who knows when they'll be available on the market again. Yeah. Next up, we have Barchypelma Klaasi. This was one that was actually probably one of the best freebies I ever got in my life. And it was a spider that I honestly wasn't all that interested in when I first got her. I wouldn't say I was upset for getting one, but it wasn't one that was really on my radar. Well, she's definitely on my radar now. This spider is gorgeous. She just molted about 2 weeks ago. She has taken her first meal. There's actually a cricket in here, so we'll probably end up startling Billy as she inevitably goes for the cricket. But gorgeous species, one you don't see all that much, and when you do see them, they tend to be rather expensive overall. Slower growing species as a Barchypelma. This one did take a while to put on size. I believe that when I got her, she was a sling about 1/2 an inch, and that was about 6 or 7 years ago. And right now, she's probably right around, as she tries to hide under her old molt, probably right around the 4-inch mark or so, but still picked up her adult colors a few molts back, and they're just getting more and more beautiful with each molt. She is a little skittish. This is one of the species that people have asked me before if they could make a good beginner species, and I think yes, they could. She's definitely not defensive, but she hasn't necessarily been a tractable spider, not one that I would ever consider holding, and unfortunately a lot of people that do get into the hobby come in with the impression that you are supposed to hold them, so that's not one I would put on that list. But she was easy to care for. They're very, very hardy spiders, and she's gorgeous. And so definitely if you find these guys out and about, I've heard people say they missed out on them, they saw them at shows or whatnot, didn't buy them, saw pictures of mine, they're like, oh, I messed up. Well, you did. No, sorry, that's not right. But you probably should have picked them up because they are hard to come by and just gorgeous spiders. At least over here in the States. I'm not sure overseas, sometimes things are a little different. So there we have the Barchypelma Klaasi. All right, next up we have my Theraphosa apophysis or apophysis. This one was on the top of my wish list for quite some time. I had kept obviously the T. sturmi. I have an adult female T. blondie now, 2 adult female T. blondies, and this was one I was kind of missing in my collection. But I have 2 of them now. I know that at least one of them is a female, and my lord, are they gorgeous. So one thing you'll notice about these guys right off the bat is that they're much more leggy and gangly than their cousins, the sturmi or the blondie, which I think is honestly quite striking, makes them quite different. They also keep those little pink feet. This is known, they are known as what, the pink-footed, what is it, giant pink foot, giant Goliath pink foot, something like that. Something about their pink feet, and that's because the babies have those pink feet, those pink toes, and they keep it a lot longer than I honestly anticipated that they would. My buddy Charles has ones now that are much larger than mine. I've been kind of jealous of his for a while until I finally got mine, and his are quite big, so I always get these really nice pictures of his, so I'm glad mine are finally putting on size. This one here, although she is very gangly and leggy, is probably around the 5-inch mark. Now, if I were to show you a 5-inch sturmy at this size, much thicker, beefier spider, but it almost reminds me a bit of Zenestis with their legginess, but gorgeous coloration. There's like tans and pinkish hairs on her. You can see the pinkish hairs on the abdomen. Voracious eaters, and spiders that, quite frankly, mine have been a little bit skittish. When they were smaller, they weren't so bad, but now that they put on some size, they're a little bit skittish. I actually cheated on this one and fed her beforehand because I knew that would kind of calm her down. But again, amazing spiders. Can't wait till these guys put on some major size. This is, although sturmy and blondie are often debated as being the biggest spiders there are, I have heard that there have been male T. apophysis or apophysis that have hit the 12-inch mark, or even I believe there was one that was 13 inches. Unfortunately, it wasn't official, so it isn't in the Guinness Book World Records, but this is a species thought to be potentially larger in leg span than its cousin. So beautiful shots there, beautiful spider, and anybody that likes Theraphosa species, you kind of need these. And I believe, again, they just had a deal on them. Was it Fear Not Tarantulas had a deal with all 3 species of these that was like $300, which is redonkulously good. So hopefully some people pick those up because, again, they get a rep for being just big brown spiders. Honestly, they are anything but. And here we got the Lasiodorides polycuspulatus. I had somebody just recently contact me saying they were able to get one of these at a show. I've been kind of showing mine off for years. Awesome little spiders, ones that you don't see around all that often, ones that there isn't a whole heck of a lot out there about, except the fact they're supposed to be very, very docile. I've had people ask me about how docile they are. Mine has been very, very skittish overall. I have her and another spider, the Paranensis, V. Paranensis, that I've always kind of kept right next to each other in enclosures, and they've both exhibited that very skittish behavior where if I open the enclosure, they're one of the few spiders I sometimes worry will bolt out, but they are gorgeous. And as you can see here, the color is astounding. Some pinkish toes on the knees, some reddish hairs on the abdomen, pinkish hue on the cephalothorax. Just overall, just a really cool coloration, cool patterning, a very unique spider overall. And again, although mine have not been what I would call docile, and mine are definitely not ones that I would ever consider sticking my hand in there and handling, because I could picture one shooting right up my arm and being gone in a heartbeat, there are folks out there that report that theirs are actually very calm and tractable. So this girl actually just molted this week. It's been about 4 days, so I gave her a little chance to harden up a bit before we got some shots of her. Hopefully she'll be ready to eat in a few days or so. And you can expect to see more footage of her as time goes on, because this is one I like to show off because it's one I wish would be a little more established in the hobby. So sometimes if I talk about things, people pick them up, maybe people will breed them, and then we'll have more of them out and about for us all to enjoy. So here we have my Homoeomma species blue Peru. There's a million of these offered, a million different combinations. This one here, I believe, is probably the Homoeomma species. The other one that people think it could sometimes be is a Sericopelma species, Lagunas, I think maybe. I could have misspoke there, but I don't think it's Sericopelma species because this one has been rather slow growing. Originally, she was sporting much more of the blue and the male. I have a mature male now that is completely blue. Her last molt, she lost a little bit of the blue, but it's still an amazing looking spider. So I think sometimes we get so hung up on the blue that we forget that even subtle blues with, you know, that cream orange color on her knees and legs just give her such a striking look. So pattern has to be taken into consideration when you look at spiders and how pretty they are, and this one definitely has a gorgeous pattern. Now, will she lose some of that blue as she puts on more, or more of that blue as she puts on more size? I don't know. I honestly don't care. It's a gorgeous spider, and this is one of the ones that I will say has been very, very laid back now that she's put on some size. I alluded to the fact before that Billy and I were shooting a video with her not that long ago, and she kind of did the Homoeomma chilensis thing where she calmly just crawled out of her cage to explore. Might have stuck my hand out there. Again, I do not encourage handling at all, but there are certain spiders that I sometimes slip up with, and this might have been one of them. But awesome spider overall, beautiful animal. One of the ones that, again, when I got her, I'd seen some pictures online, but they don't do it justice. Even what Billy's getting here, which is some incredible shots, nice and close with that pattern and that color, aren't doing her justice. She really is a stunning spider. So for folks who can't get a hold of H. chilensis and they're looking for something similar, I mean, they're a little bigger than chilensis, but they do kind of have that attitude that the chilensis have where they like to explore, they're inquisitive, then definitely check these guys out. However, do keep in mind that there are two different species thought to be being sold under the same name, and I believe the Sericopelma one is a little faster growing, a little more high strung. So if you do get the blue Homoeomma species blue Peru and end up with the Sericopelma, it might not be quite as docile as this one here, but either way, gorgeous spider, definitely one worth checking out. All right, to finish this one off, we're going to go over a couple of my true spiders because I've had people asking about them. That is actually the Molt for my H. maxima or H. maxima, was it Thailand cave spider, I believe is the other name they're being sold at, because there's some uncertainty around whether they are true H. maximas or a similar species or maybe a different species, but I will flip this over so hopefully we can get a good look at it. This one here just molted and is pushing over 2 inches. So if you remember the original video when I got these guys, they were minuscule. This might be the one that actually ended up on my back that Billy had to find because it was in the wrinkles of my shirt, just the whole types of unprepared for that rehousing. We've since learned from our ways and had much more calm and controlled rehousings, but very, very fast species and very fast growing species because again, that was only about what, 4 months ago and maybe even 3 months ago, and it's already put on a great deal of size. So this is one that supposedly can hit the mythical 11 to 12 inch mark. We will see how it goes. I've heard hints that these types of spiders in captivity don't seem to reach the same size as their wild counterparts, so we'll have to see how it goes, but I don't really care. I absolutely am fascinated by huntsmen, and the idea of even having a 7-8 inch huntsman is incredibly intriguing and inviting me. So we'll see how it goes, but there we go. H. maxima or H. maxima Thai cave spider, definitely putting on some serious size. The other one's in pre-molt now. I'm guessing that one will catch up to this one rather quickly. And here we have my Heteropoda species boiei. I'm going to butcher this one. I can't help it. But this one, when I got it, was a speck. I honestly thought that the flightless fruit flies were going to be too small for it. I was really freaking out. But it has molted 4 times and is now just over an inch. Probably going to need a rehousing soon. I'm sure Billy's delighted to hear that. Very, very cool species. I believe, what is it? It's like the moss huntsman or something, or the lichen huntsman. Lichen, that's werewolves, isn't it? How do you, lichen? Lichen. Everybody's probably laughing at me. The plant people are going to make fun of me. But anyway, when you see these guys, they're very long, shorter body lengths, but long, gangly leg spans, and they kind of blend in with moss and stuff on trees, which I think is amazing, kind of a greenish tinge to them. So I'm hoping this one is a female, so we get to see a big female. I believe they get to be 6 to 7 inches, but feel free, somebody chime in if I'm wrong on that one. I don't care. They're gorgeous spiders. Again, just absolutely adoring the huntsman spiders and really excited to raise this one up to adulthood. So there we go. Heteropoda boiei. It's got so many vowels. O-I-E-I. Boiei. Somebody's going to come on and tell me how to pronounce it. It's going to be completely off. But anyway, gorgeous spider. All right, so this one I honestly didn't think we were going to be able to get footage of. I just took her out and told Billy maybe we can like stick the camera in front of her den and get some footage of her. But this is my Sericopelma species Santa Catalina that recently molted. This will probably be the one to end off the video because this has become one of the most striking spiders I have ever kept. You can see that orange on her legs. Now, originally, I used to say that she reminded me of like a giant Barchypelma species because a lot of the Barchypelmas, the flame knees, the fire legs or whatever, have those orange legs. Well, she lost some of the overall coloration of orange, but picked up these striking stripes Almost reminds me of a Salmopius armenia with the orange chevrons on the legs, and I'm hoping this is coming out because I'm looking at the phone and it's looking a little washed out compared to how rich it is, but it's like a metallic orange with stripes that go all the way down from her patellas, down her legs to those orange chevrons in there. Now, when I looked up pictures of this one online, what I saw is usually what my female looked like before with the, orange legs overall. I had no idea there was a chance of her becoming this just overall gorgeous. You can see the carapace darkened up a little bit, her overall body darkened up a little bit, so it really makes that orange pop. Oh, there we go. Holy crud. I mean, I have a thing for orange and black spiders. I'm a big Halloween fan. Obviously got the Halloween tattoos and whatnot. So to see a spider that looks like this is just astounding to me. So she has definitely gone up on my list of most beautiful spiders that I keep. And she was up on that list high already to begin with. So the fact that she is now looking like this is just an incredible treat. Now, for folks that are interested in this one, I do believe, again, I think Fear Not just got them in stock or has them in stock, right?
Yeah.
Right? Sericopelma species. This is one I got to get a sling of the rays eventually because,
Oh, dear.
Oh, there she is. Holy crow. And the other thing is, this is one of the giants. She is currently, her last molt, which unfortunately she shredded, but I was able to stretch it out, was about 7.5 inches. So I'm guessing she's around 8 inches now. I'd heard these guys could get quite large. Wasn't sure how true that was, but she is continuing to grow, continuing to put on beautiful colors, and continuing to be one of the best looking spiders in my collection. So hopefully some folks start checking out Sericopelma more, because I think obviously they are up there with some of the other giant beauties like Pamphobedius, Formictopus, and even Zenestus. So there we go. We're going to end this one with my Sericopelma species Santa Catalina, sporting her new look, which is just honestly fabulous. So again, I'm so glad we were able to feature that Sericopelma species Santa Catalina. I honestly didn't think it was going to work out. I told Billy beforehand we're going to take her out. We'll try to see if she'll make herself visible. If not, we'll just have to include her in a future video. But luckily she came out, and Billy actually had the idea to drop some crickets in, so when she moved out into the open so we could get a full view of her, that was because she had sent some crickets and was going on the hunt. So good job to Billy for not only getting amazing footage, but for that idea. So that will do it for this one. As always, if you liked it enough to subscribe, very much appreciate. Click a little circle up in there. If you want to check out some more videos, see what I'm about, you can find them in here. If you take the time to comment, no, I will take the time to respond. It just may take a couple days because I tend to get a lot of comments. That'll do it for this one, guys. Stay safe. We'll catch you all next time.